Let's talk about the fake billing scams and how you can protect your company. Unauthorized invoice saying you were listed in a phony trade directory. Received a fake invoice for a website domain name. Phone call to confirm details of an ad booking. Phone call insisting your company ordered goods or services. Email with your bank or vendor logo saying your account was frozen and click here to activate. Here's the key with all of these scams. The scammer is hoping that the person they're speaking to on the phone has absolutely no clue if what they're saying is true. Here's how your company can protect against fake billing scams. Maintain an open door policy with your employees, and here's why. If your employee, especially someone who manages company assets, has a question and they are intimidated or afraid or unable to access you to get an answer, especially if they think, wow, I don't want to deal with that person, they may try to resolve the issue themselves without asking management. Establish a billing process. I created a video on how to create a company billing process, and I'll put a link to that right here. Training your employees. If you have more than one person who is responsible for maintaining corporate assets, I highly recommend that you create some sort of training program for those employees. Some of the topics you can discuss in that training program could be or should be how to hover over a link in any email to see who the sender is, when to inform other employees about fake emails, how not to provide information about your company. And something comes to mind. I have a story. When I used to work at a marketing firm, I used to get these phone calls and they would talk about, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. What type of printer do you use?" And I'd give them a snarky answer and they'd hang up. That would be setting my company up for the toner scam. Another area where you can train any employee who has to deal with assets within your company is how to respond to a suspicious email from a known company. Get to know your vendors' names, and if you have multiple vendors, be sure to get complete contact information for that vendor, as well as the department head or the CEO of that company. That way, if the vendor that you have direct contact with leaves, you can contact that company's CEO, CFO, or person in higher management. Don't put company business in the public domain. Here's something you can do. Enter your company's name in a search engine like Google or Firefox and see what information about your company is in the public domain. Ensure your company's computer network is secure. I would hire a credible, experienced IT company that can spot vulnerabilities in your company's computer system. These types of scams have been out for many, many, many years. It is up to you as a business owner or manager to stay abreast of the latest scams. Ensure that anyone who is responsible for asset management within your company is aware of these types of scams, and you as the business owner should ensure that these employees are trained on how to deal with these types of scams so you are not taken advantage of. So let's say you receive an IRS notice or letter in the mail. Well, how can you tell that it's legit? For starters, the IRS uses the United States Postal Service to initiate contact with the taxpayer. The IRS has a search engine on their website, irs.gov, where you can search the letter or notice number so you can compare what you get in the mail to the explanation on the IRS website. Any IRS notice or letter will do two things. One, it will explain the reason for the letter or notice, and two, how you can take care of it. For example, in my example, I entered the IRS notice number CP080. You can see here on the website that this notice is about crediting a payment to the tax account but the actual tax return has not been received. So if you get a letter or a notice from the IRS and it says, pay me money, but if you put that letter or notice number in the IRS search engine and it says, we need to see your tax return, you know that's a fraudulent letter or notice. So if your company receives a sketchy letter asking for money, make sure the IRS notice received is identical to the one on the irs.gov website. What about an IRS phone call? If you receive a phone call from someone who claims to be with the IRS, don't just pay money based on a phone call. Instead, while that person is on the line, go up to irs.gov and view your tax information on the website. Also, I would review the payment options on the website as well. irs.gov should tell you whether or not you owe anything. Here's a list of what the IRS does not do. The IRS will not demand immediate payment, especially if it's the very first time they've contacted you. The IRS will not force you to purchase a compliance kit. The IRS will not demand a specific payment method. Nor will they ask you to buy gift cards, wire money, nor will they ask for your credit or debit card over the phone. The IRS will request payments be made to the U.S. Treasury or on irs.gov/payments. The IRS will not threaten law enforcement. They won't threaten to call the police or immigration or anybody to come and arrest you. Please understand that the IRS does not have authority to revoke any licenses, nor can the IRS revoke immigration. The IRS will not bully or threaten you in a phone call. According to the IRS website, this is not how they operate. And from a purely professional standpoint, a business owner should not give in to anyone on the phone, no matter who they are, threatening and bullying you to pay them money. The IRS will not send you an email or a text message. The IRS will notify you through the U.S. Postal Service, and that notice will be sent to the last address they have on record. If you don't respond to the IRS, that's when you'll start getting phone calls. Does the IRS make unannounced visits? Yes, they do. But with that being said, don't just allow anyone access into your home or business. Also, take a moment to understand your taxpayers' rights. Okay, let's insert some common sense here. You as a business owner know if you haven't paid taxes, if you haven't filed your corporate taxes, if you have past due taxes, if you owe back taxes and you didn't make payment arrangements, somebody is going to knock on your door. Don't ignore an IRS notice or letter. Stop what you're doing, make the time to figure out if that IRS notice or letter is legit. Your company interviewed a number of employees for an available position, and you found the perfect employee. He or she signs all of your employment documents and starts work. Later on, you find out that the employee's resume contained information that was not true. The employee lied on the resume. Is there anything your company can do about it? Before you hire an employee, I highly recommend adding a declaration on your company's new hire documentation, like a job application, that says something to the effect that once the employee is hired by the XYZ company, if the company discovers that an employee has fabricated any experience or other information on any new hire documentation, that employee will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. In addition, I recommend implementing a new written employment policy that states something similar. If it is discovered during employment, if it's discovered anytime during employment that an employee fabricated all or part of the information contained on their new hire documents, that employee will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including immediate termination of employment. Once your company implements that new written employment policy, your company can begin taking action against the employee, and that may mean a demotion, probation, termination, or whatever your company decides. Please contact me via email if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I received an email inquiry from my website, and I think it's about time I address this topic on a video, because more often than not, I get these types of emails. I'm not going to read the entire email to you. You can pause the video if you would like to do that. But what I would like to highlight is the following. This person stated, what I really need help with is what to do with the fake tax document the lady who applied for me designed in my name. Please understand that when you come to me asking me how to fix something that I perceive to be as illegal activity, I don't want any part of those types of projects. I don't want to be complicit with someone else's illegal behavior or activity. If I come to your company, and this has happened before, where an employer will admit out loud to me that they have undocumented workers employed at their company, I will not continue my work with your company. Please understand that my job is to help companies, but I will not be complicit with illegal activity. I can't tell you how many times I have wandered into these types of scenarios. I've had to graciously bow out. How to prevent your company from becoming victim to a scammer. I was cruising on Reddit and I ran across this post. Scammer alert, surgical mask wholesaler. Our company got scammed by Poland, 32,000 euros. They promised a supply of 3M masks. We paid the money. They kept delaying the supply by giving excuses. Now they are not replying, and the number on their website is disconnected. Beware. On a personal note, my husband's hobby turned into a global business. We have vendors from all over the world that we deal with, and there are steps that you as a business owner should take if you choose to go global and start dealing with vendors all over the world. Here are some steps that we use in our business to prevent us from being scammed. This is not an all-inclusive list. Use the information in this video as a guide to help your company create its own unique process as it relates to dealing with global vendors. Establish a business process on how to deal with global vendors. In other words, write it down. Write step by step what you or your employees should be doing when you are dealing with vendors outside of the United States. When making global purchases, do businesses with large established companies or individuals or smaller companies that have been vetted. There are companies on eBay, there are companies on Alibaba. There are real people who purchase products and put a customer rating and reviews, and these are things that you should investigate before you decide to use a vendor. If you have a vendor that has negative reviews, if you have a vendor that doesn't have a lot of reviews, these are things you need to consider before you decide to do business with that vendor. Never send money directly to a foreign country. Use PayPal or another similar type of company to where there's a recourse in case you need a refund. I tend to Google the names of companies to see what information I find. Also, I will Google the name of the company and put complaint behind the company's name to see what else comes up. Google, as we know, is not the Bible. It is full of a lot of misinformation in addition to a lot of credible information. Again, you'll have to piece together the information you find to make your own determination if this company is credible. If the company says it's from Poland, or it is established in Russia, or if it's established in whatever country that it says that it's established in, I would think that that website would be in that native language. With the vendors we do use vendors in Poland. We do have many vendors in Russia. We do have a lot of vendors in other different countries. Their websites are in that language, and in the upper right-hand corner is a button called Translate. So it is able to translate the language into English, and we are able to understand the products that we are ordering. And finally, if the item is to be purchased from an ad, take the time to hover your mouse over the link, don't click it, and just see what is that web address. That will also help you to determine if it's from a legitimate source or if it's from a scammer. Again, use these tips as a guide to help you and your company develop its own unique business process for ordering items globally. There are a lot of scams out there, considering all this PPP loan, all of this EIDL money, and then there are stimulus checks coming in to individuals. Please be mindful that the scammers are already on it. They already know that this money is out there and they want to get their cut. And if they can't get their cut through the government, they're going to try to get it through you. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you want to know more about business operations, business management, human resources, and other topics related to running a business, click on one of those play links. Click on one of these click on the playlist.
One eternity later.
Click on one of these playlists. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.